So hi everyone, I'm doing the Noteworthy Simple Page Kit #1 digitally and also showing a copy of our PDF instructions that you can find on the Consistently Creative Croppers Facebook group. So I'm Kari, I'm here with Colleen and Cheryl just demonstrated the page kit and she assembled the page kit as it arrived from Creative Memories. But if you don't have the page kit and you want to use this page kit design with your paper stash or you want to do it digitally, you might find these instructions helpful. So we have the sample of what Creative Memories did with their sample layout. We have information on the designer paper that was cut in order to create this. So I've got the dimensions here. I've also got the photo dimensions on the page so you can see that. And then the base papers actually come with designs on them. I just colored them in different shades of color. I didn't put any patterns in there, so you could always select whatever paper designs you want. And then I have the dimensions on the final layout, so you could see how the photos are placed and where everything is sitting from the cutout. So like I always begin when I'm doing one of these recipes or page kits, I take a look at it and see how much of it is duplicated on both sides. So that way I only do the work once. So as you can see, the base is the same on both pages. The other things that are the same is there is a strip of paper that runs on both sides underneath. It's white on this one. There's also a vertical photo that's on both of them, and then everything else is just a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and create the base paper, and I'm going to also put in that white piece of paper that happens to be pieces 1 and 2 here as they're shown on the designer paper that's cut apart. So I'm going to start with all of that. So I'm going to take my instructions and move them to my second screen so I can see them. So we have a frame around the entire page. So if you were cutting this traditionally, you could actually cut out the inside portion of the paper, but I don't need to really do that digitally. I am just going to end up inserting a square that is 12 by 12 for the base because I'm going to end up covering that up with something else. So it will look like it was that frame, and I'm going to put in this lightish green color and click create. And I'm going to use the quick access toolbar and set the X and Y to 0. You could also go up to the home ribbon and select align and center on page to get that if that would work out better for you. Many ways of doing the same thing. Now I'm going to insert a second rectangle, and this one is going to be 11 by 11, and I'm going to make this a darker green so you can see the difference, and this will end up giving me that border around the edge. So this one I'm going to click create. I'm going to the home, arrange, align, and center on page. So now it looks like I have that 1/2 inch frame all the way around the outside, and I didn't need to actually do any cutting or cut it all out because it's layered here. Then I have a 12 by 4 inch rectangle, which on their design had a really nice slate color paper with some words on it. So I'm going to make this 12 by 4. I'm going to make this kind of a deep gray, and then you can always fill it with whatever paper you want. And do that. And again, I'm going to go back to the home and arrange and center on page because that's about where it was. Then there was that additional little strip of paper, and it was from the cut apart, and it was 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go that, and this one 0.75 by 12, and that's the wrong way. So I actually needed to be 12 by 0.75. And I want it to be white. so you can see it. And this time I'm going to go ahead and just drag it in here, and you can see that it aligns at the x equals 0 and the y equals 8, and that should work correctly. So I can go ahead and put in some of the mats. I don't think I'm going to at this point because I think it'll be fast enough to create the second page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over into the right side panel on the page that I've been working on. If I click on the drop down arrow, I can duplicate the page. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to end up with 2 pages that look just like what my base was. So I'm going to slide my base down here so you can see this is what I've created, and I've added that little white strip in here. So now the next things I need to do is add these photo mats, these teal photo mats that are in here. And I will do that before I place in the photos. And this piece here, I don't know that if you can read this, but this piece 6, there was a pattern on the paper. So this is not actually 2 pieces of paper. This is actually 1 piece of paper, and it had this darker teal around the outside with a white area, and it looked like it was meant for a journaling box. So I'm going to slide my screen again. All right. So this is my left side. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my first photo mat. So this one is going to be 4 by 6. And I'm going to make it this teal-ish color, that one. And I'm going to click create. And that's going to be over here someplace. I am going to go ahead and do another rectangle that is going to be the same color, and this one's going to be 4 by 2. And I'm just going to line this one up, and I'm going to let the alignment tools help me line that up. So since it had a white area that was originally set up to do your journaling, and I didn't know for sure what size it was, I decided I would make it about a 1/2 inch border around the outside of this, so and then make it white. So since this one was 4 by 2, I decided let's try 3.5 by 1.5. So let's do that. 3.5 by 1.5. And I'm going to make it white. And then I can use the quick access toolbar to help me align these two so that they're centered. So if I have the white one selected first, and then I go and I select that teal one, I can use the second alignment and the 5th one, and now it's nice and centered. And that looks very similar to what they had in their original layout. So this is the basic part of this. I'm going to go ahead, I'll put the photo frames in here because then I don't have to come back. So this one is going to be a 3.5 by 5.5. And I'm going to use the centering, the same thing, the 2nd and the 5th. And then I've got 2 additional empty frames that are 6 by 4. And this time I'm just going to copy this. So I'm going to right click, copy, right click, paste. And that is my right page, or sorry, my left page. So now let me move over to the right page. I have, just to refresh your memory, I've got this. This is what it looks like. I've got this piece, which is 4 3/4 by 12, and got to move my thing out of my way. So 4 3/4 by 12. And I want it to be that teal. And I can line it up again near the top. And then I've got 2 pages that are 4 by 4, or 2 photos that are 4 by 4 on this piece. It's an empty frame and another one. And that's what they're going to come in as, 4 by 4. Something like that. And then I had another photo mat that was 4 by 6. And another frame, 3.5 by 5.5. And I can align them. And what do I have left? And I've got this page that's kind of, there we go. So what I've done the whole entire left page, the right page, except for the banners. So I'm going to go ahead and do those couple of banners that are there. And there were 2 banners, and one of them was about 2 and 3.5 inches, and the other one was 2 by 3 inches. So I'm going to make both of them. One of them was white with pattern on it. So insert another shape. There's a lot of rectangles that we're making tonight. 2 by 3.5. And this one was white. And then the second one was teal, and it was 2 by, or 3.5 by 2. 5 by 2. The dimensions. All right. Not 23. I can't type. Okay. And that's the first one, should have been 0.75. Okay. And I want this one to be teal, so I can always go back and change the color. So I think I've shown on a previous video, but it has been a while, how I get the banner cuts when I'm doing these digitally. So I think that there are many ways to do this, but I think one of the easiest ways is to select the actual piece, go to the cut ribbon, cutters, shapes, and I am going to cut out a triangle from it. So if I go and I pick this isosceles triangle, and I want it to be 2 inches wide, and I do about 1/2 inch. And you can see that will be a nice cut, and I can use those. They're on, I've got it set up to be purple because I like purple, but these alignment guides to do that, and it can actually cut that section out of there. So I want to keep the unshaded area in my case, and I'm going to cut, and I end up with that nice banner, and then I can just go back, select the other piece, and do it again. So it will be 2 inches by 0.5. And that gives a pretty nice cut. Again, cut the unshaded. And that's it. So then I can just kind of move this on top of there. They're actually, do I have that? I have that right, yes. 3.75, 3.5, okay. And they're a little bit too close to my picture, so I'm just going to move my picture down, and then I should be pretty close to what they have on their original. So here again are the instructions, but I've got this image here so you can kind of see this is what they started out with. So we've just recreated that digitally, and you can use this information to cut papers, do it digitally, and we'd love to see what you create with whatever papers and photos you might be using. You can share a picture of it in our Consistently Creative Croppers Facebook group, because we'd love to see what you create. And if you watch the video, we'd love to see a comment from you and see what you think. So thank you so much for watching, and we hope you enjoyed this video.
Thanks, Kari.
Thanks, Kari.